Hey there, welcome back to Manotick StringWorks. So today on the bench we have this Ibanez Gio electric guitar, the Highway to Hell AC/DC strap. Well, let's hope this guitar doesn't take us down there. So the owner's brought it in because he's got an output jack issue, lots of noise, so that's really just what he wants me to check. But I'm looking over this guitar just quickly here. The setup's not bad. The action looks pretty good. But this string job here, that leaves a lot to be desired. Anyways, let's start with that output jack.
Welcome to Manotick StringWorks. Please remember to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for more video content.
So these Ibanez Gios are entry-level guitars, and for what they are, they're pretty good. There's nothing really wrong with them. They have a trim, two humbuckers, simple controls. So really, they're playable guitars. Certainly there are worse things you could learn on, I think. But the owner has brought this in because he says there's some issues with the output jack. So I'm going to plug this in. First of all, everything looks tight, so that's good. It goes in well. Let's turn on the amp. Alright, we have noise. Okay. Yeah, you can hear that. That's almost always a loose solder connection, right? Or something is touching. Metal on metal in there. Without playing with it, switches seem to work. Let's check the position. So first position should just be, turn these volumes up. Bridge. That's both. This should just be both. Yeah. Okay, let me go back to the second position. Sort of a coil split thing going on there. No push-pull on that, no. And volume-wise, that's volume, that's tone, right? Right, okay. Alright, let's have a look at that output jack in the electronics cavity. Take this off first. It's just going to get in the way as we flip the guitar over. A sign of a cheaper bridge, right, with the screw ends. Most bridges, even Fenders these days, will have a push-in arm. There we go. Let's flip it over. Oh, little pick holder. There you go. Parts bin. These are tough to get out sometimes, eh? I need to get one of those little suction cups, or a suction pig like Dave has, Dave Realm in Toronto. Okay, well, very clean in there. All the wires are neatly done. Nothing looks crazy. Everything's soldered in. Okay. And of course the output jack access is a little harder to get at. Let's take that off. Now the owner did say he took it to a guitar shop recently and for a fix, and apparently it hasn't worked out. You can still hear something. Could be one of those intermittent things though too, right? That when you want to hear it, you can't make it happen. You want to reproduce it. Okay. Alright, I'll bring you in close, we'll have a look at it. Got you good and close on the AC/DC strap. Alright, so, you know, from just looking at it, the connections are well soldered. Nothing's touching. So I'm going to plug it in and just see if there's any chance that something could be touching it. Metal on metal? No. Could the wire touch it when it's in there? Maybe. But the shielded wire like that, I mean a coated wire, that shouldn't cause any problem. Now, it could just be that it's a cheap output jack, right? Yeah, the solder looks fine. Let me turn on the amp. See if I can reproduce it. Okay. Well, I hope you can hear that. Now it's not doing it. Now it's doing it. Now it's not doing it. There we go. I think it's just a bad jack. So I'm going to retrace these wires. So there should be, the white's the hot, the black will be the ground. And I just want to make sure that we're grounded properly here. So I've kept the amp running, kept it on, in case I start pulling on something we hear a noise. So here's the white wire. That's going to the volume pot. And that's soldered nicely. Here's the ground, and that's almost always the issue. No. Yeah, that's soldered on nicely too. So, I'm thinking that we have just a crappy output jack. It's pretty much what it's going to be, I think. And again, it's intermittent. These are always the pain in the butt. Because, you know, like I said, you might be able to reproduce it once in a while. But then, not all the time. Yeah, I think I would recommend changing that jack. So I have a brand new output jack here. A lot better quality than the one that's on there. So let me see. I think if we change it, that'll make a big difference. Alright, so the first thing we have to do is take off these lead wires. So I'll start with the hot. I'll take the ground off. Okay. I went and loosened the nut here on the outside. Let's see if I can reuse it on this one, because it is black. Yeah, it fits fine, so that's good. I'll be able to reuse it to keep the look. And you know, always look at the two. So the shafts look to be the same, a little taller on this one, which is fine. That'll look okay. So it's always a good idea to put, you know, you have to put that lock washer in there. That helps secure it against the back, in this case, of the jack plate. But we'll do that in a sec. Alright, I'm going to move my pieces over. Now you have your output jack. So when you look at the output jack, the construction of it, you're going to see that you have your contact here, and the contact goes in between these two sort of insulating layers, and that connects with, you know, you plug it in. So that's your contact. So if you look at the insulating layers, you can see that this one is actually in the middle, in between, sandwiched in between. So that's your hot. This one goes right to the shaft here, or the barrel, where the barrel goes in, and that's your ground. Okay, so that's how you can tell. It's not that easy maybe to look at. Okay, let's crack on with this. So we're gonna put some solder right on our leads first. Our lugs, I should call them. There we go. Always a good idea. Okay. Now there should have been some solder on these wires already, but I'll put a little more. There we go, tin those up. Now like I said, we want the ground to go to the ground. So I'm just going to put that right there. There we go. And I'll just let that cool on there for a second or two. It's good. And I'll come back with some more solder. Sometimes you can just get it like this, which is nice. Other times you need all kinds of holders and a second set of hands, you know. So I'm just going to come back with this one actually. Of course, just as I say that, that's what I need, you know. Alright, let's go back in. So we're going to heat that up. Get the lead through there. Let it solidify. It's good. Now I'm going to put a little more solder on the joint from the outside here. There we go. Okay, that's not going to go anywhere. We'll get over on the ground. That's looking pretty good too. Just a little more solder in there. Okay. Now what I like to do is go in, and if you have just a little bit of wire poking out there, just like to snip it off. And that'll help prevent any contact with the jack, you know. You don't want that happening. Okay, but it's far enough away. You can also take a pair of pliers, just squeeze that in a little bit. It's another way of making sure. Okay, so before we put this back in the guitar, let's see if this fix worked. Alright, I've got it plugged in. We've got signal. Yeah, that seems fine. I mean, that's me playing around with it, right? So, okay, well let's install it back and see what happens. Okay, so this is where you play around with it a little bit. So I've got one nut in there, and I've put it on to where I think I need the height to be. I'm going to put the lock washer on. Then we're going to put the jack plate. Then we're going to put the washer, and then the black nut right there. This way you can see if you're got enough of the jack actually sticking out. Oh, that looks good. Got it the first try. That doesn't always happen. Okay. So I'm going to lock that down. So this is 12 millimeter. So make sure you hold your jack in place and then tighten it down. Doesn't have to be crazy tight, but tight enough, you know. Then you want to check the fit in the cavity. I'm going to pull these wires through and make sure everything fits in there. Yeah, looks good. Alright, let's screw it in. Alright, well, let's plug it in. See what happens. I'm pulling it around, shaking it in and out. Seems good to me. So I think that's all it was, right? The output jack. So the output jack, these I just throw away, of course, but I do keep the hardware though. So any washers or any nuts, because those are always things you need. So make sure to hang on to those. But we can throw this old output jack away. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That looks good. Alright. I'm going to button it up. And we're going to call this one done. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.